everybody. Today we are celebrating Apollo's birthday. Yay! Happy birthday, Apollo. He is 12 years old today. Yup, 12 years old. And so I'm in my party outfit here celebrating sadly, thousands of miles away from him, but I know he knows he's loved today, and that's what matters. So thanks to everybody who's been sending birthday wishes to him. I've passed along the messages to the wonderful lady who's taking care of him in New Hampshire, and she sang him happy birthday today. So, and sent me a video of it, but I couldn't get it to share. So you don't get to see the video, but he did get happy birthday sung to him today. And I'm going to celebrate him myself here, so far away. So got my party hat, got my party beads, and I was gonna get one of those noisemaker things, but I can't find it. I know there's one somewhere in the house, but oh well, that's okay. Also celebrating with some day drinking. So cheers to Apollo, and many more. In case you're curious, this is Boston Harbor maple cream, delicious, in a souvenir Indiana shot glass from Aurora, Indiana, which I rode through this last June, I think. So, yeah, partay. Let's see. I was going to tell you a few things about Apollo today to celebrate his birthday. He's 12 today, and when I was a kid, I always, learning about horses, I always thought 12 was like some magical age for a horse. Like, that's when a horse became suddenly wise and mature and beginner friendly, because all the horses that I rode that were lesson horses for beginner riders were all 12 and up, and for some reason I had that number in my head that when they turn 12 they're magically mature. And so I don't know, we'll see how he is when I see him again, if he's suddenly a lot less goofy, but I kind of hope not, because I kind of like him goofy most of the time, except when he's making me mad. So let's see. So 12 in horse years is equivalent to approximately 40 in people years. And I've seen different estimations to do the horse-human conversion thing, so it's, I don't know if it's exactly 40, but plus or minus a year or so. So he's about 40 today in human terms. So he's he's not an old man yet. he's just mature. So I got pictures of him today, which I posted on Facebook. You might have seen them already, but if not, let me see if I can show you from one screen to another. So there's Apollo, such a good boy. He's getting a lot of practice in cross ties. Like, he knew how to stand in cross ties before, because I've had to use them a lot on the ride, but he's always a little bit squirrely. Like, not terrible, but enough that I didn't really want to just leave him standing there, but without supervision. But he's that's how they tie him when they're brushing him or taking pictures or whatever, to send to me. And so he's getting a lot of cross tie practice, and he's doing so good. pleased. So anyway, there's Apollo today, my new update picture. I also got a little video of the woman taking care of him, singing to him. There he is again. Oh, my horse. Such a good boy. You can see in the background there, that's his friend. I think that's Johnny? Yeah, because the other one is gray. So that's Johnny in the background. Yeah. So a little bit about Apollo. Let me say first, I was going to tell you a little bit about when he was born, since it's his birthday. And pretty much everything that I'm about to say, I already said on my podcast, episode 3. So go look up Have Horse Will Travel. And if you like these stories, I'm probably not going to say exactly the same thing or everything that I said on episode 3. So go look it up. Number 3. So, yeah, there you go. So Apollo was born in Nevada, and he was born obviously 12 years ago, April 2nd, and he was born, well, his mother is a Peruvian Paso, purebred, and his father is a wild Mustang that is still, as far as I know, a wild Mustang that was running around just loose on the Nevada deserts and running around doing his Mustang thing, and took a fancy to the Peruvian Paso on the other side of the fence, jumped the fence, and bred the mare, and 11 months later, which is how long horses are pregnant for, Apollo was born. And so he was an unintentional breeding, and so he's half Peruvian Paso and half Mustang. So his mother was chestnut and his father was a big gray, and he genetically, that's where the Palomino color in his case came from. So let's see, from his mother he got his movement. He's not full gaited, but he does have a little bit of gaited movement, as Peruvian Pasos are gaited horses, which means they do more than walk, trot, canter, and gallop. They also have other movement patterns that they do. And so he kind of does that. He can do that when he feels like it. Nobody ever trained him to do it, and he's not as natural of just doing it when he wants to as a full gaited horse typically would be. But so from his mother's side, he got the movement. He got the massive hips and the A-frame, so his sides and back are like that, instead of like a lot of quarter horses people are used to are more level. So he's got this very peaked back. So a lot of his body conformation comes from his mother. And then from his father, he got really good feet and the height. Peruvian Pasos tend to be really short, but Apollo is not short, and he got that from his big Mustang daddy. And a lot of people think of Mustangs as being always short, little Spanish-looking horses, but that's not true. A lot of Mustangs are big. Mustangs, remember, are from, there's a comment from Linda, he's a handsome boy no matter what. Yes, he is. So a lot of people think Mustangs are small, but Mustangs came from whatever horses were in the area that ended up going feral, basically, like that were either originally from the conquistadors that got loose, and those are more the Spanish typey horses, and also settlers whose draft horses got loose, and also a lot of cavalry stock that they actually turned them loose so that the horses would just run around and breed and survive and be tough from living in the wild, and then when they needed remounts they just round them up and break them. And so there was a lot of thoroughbredy, saddlebredy type horses also that were cavalry horses. So there's all sorts of different looking horses that blended together to make the modern Mustang, and so that's why you get a lot of variety in what they look like. And so the stallion that was Apollo's father was a big one. That's all I really know about him, is that he was a big gray stallion. And so from the parts of Apollo's conformation that are not Peruvian, I suspect that his father was kind of one of those saddle-bred or thoroughbred looking horses. And so tall, lanky, he's got a little bit of feathering on his legs, so maybe a bit of draft in there. So anyway, that is Apollo's background. And from his mother's side, he also got his ear bit off. So if you've never noticed, let me see if I can find a good picture with that. Here's a good one. Here's another one from today. So you see on this side, it's a normal looking ear, and on that side, it's flat on the top. So this little tip is missing. And that is because his mom bit it off. The story goes, and I'm his, let's see, I was his fourth owner when I bought him. So I never met his first owner from where he was born, but the story I got from the previous owner was that when he was born, he couldn't stand up. He was sick, and so his mother was trying to pull him to his feet and bit the tip of his ear off, trying to yank him up to a standing position, and he wouldn't stand. She was just pulling so hard she bit the tip of his ear off. Poor little guy. So his original name was Champion because he survived that hard birth, and so when he went to his second owner, who bought him when he was around a yearling, she didn't like that name, and so she changed his name to Mesa. And she brought him to California, to near where I live, and she changed his name to Mesa because where he was born, there were mesas all around, I guess. So that's what she told me when I eventually met her. And so she got him when he was a yearling or a long yearling, I'm not really sure. Somewhere around his first-ish year. And she did his initial groundwork training, some desensitization, that kind of thing. And she had him for 2 years until he was about 3. And then she sold him to his third owner. And his third owner got him started under saddle, but then had to go off to school and didn't really continue training him or working with him. And so he was sad and lonely, the only horse on the property. And so when she got home from school for winter break, she decided she needed to sell him because he was not getting ridden, he wasn't getting trained, he was just there. And so she sold him when he was 5 to me. And at that point, he was 5 going on 6, because that would have been in January. So I had got him when he was a little over 5.5, 5 3/4. And there you go. So he is now like a completely different horse. He was fat and ornery when I bought him, just standing around eating and causing trouble, and nobody really worked with him. He didn't know how to be a nice horse. And so he was naughty. He was a really ornery, naughty horse, but he loved everybody and he really just wanted attention. And so he gets lots of it now, and he's a much nicer horse now. So there you go. That's where Apollo came from. And if anyone has any questions, jump right in and type me out some questions. And there's weird little things popping up all over my screen, so I had to check what that was. I'm not really sure. But anyway, so he's 12 today. He got sung to, got his picture taken, and all sorts of birthday wishes from you guys, so thanks again for that. And so he knows he's a special horse today, and I wish I could be there celebrating with him. So sad that he's on the other side of the country, but someday I'll get to see him again. So type me questions if you have any Apollo questions. And in the meantime, I think this also went on Facebook automatically, but I'm not sure. It doesn't really get a good, I don't get a notification. So just in case you didn't see it or it didn't get put there and you're not already signed up, the newsletter went out today. I send out a monthly newsletter usually on the 1st, but yesterday I wasn't feeling it, and today made sense because it was Apollo's birthday, so it was his birthday newsletter. What was I saying? Yes, newsletter. So I send out a newsletter on usually the 1st, sometimes a day or two later if I'm unable to get around to it, with updates about what's been going on the last month, what to look forward to for the next month, and it gets emailed, it's free. So if you're not signed up for the newsletter yet, it's just another fun way to get a little more information about Apollo and the ride and other stuff that's going on. So so sign up for that. There's a sign up form on my website, and there's a link for my website from this Facebook page. And there's also, let's see, if you can't find it, message me, or you can always just PM me your email address and ask me to add you to the list, and I will add you. It's easy peasy. And so there's that. And still no questions typed. I guess I answered all of your questions. That's amazing. So the newsletter went out today. If you are signed up and don't see it in your inbox, check your spam folder. It is through MailChimp, which is convenient for me because it manages all my address book, but it's sometimes sorted into the junk folder, or if you use Gmail, it might be in your social folder or your promotions folder. So look for it there if you don't see it and you already signed up, and make sure you mark me as a person that's safe to get emails from, so it goes to your regular inbox. So yeah, Um, it's it's not anything too exciting, but it's a nice way to get a summary of all the things that have been going on for the month and what to look forward to. So Linda writes, do you think this virus is going to hinder resuming your ride? I think so. I don't want to say yes right now because it's only April 2nd and I haven't, well, my plane ticket isn't until May something. I forget exactly the date, but around the middle of May. So a month and a half, things change a lot. So think back to, let's see, the middle of February would have been a month and a half ago. How much has changed since the middle of February? Oh my gosh, I think, had started hearing about coronavirus in China, but nobody at that point really had any clue about how bad it could be getting here. So a month and a half from now, it could still be bad. It could be getting better enough that I can continue. I don't know. I suspect that I will be delayed at least a month, if not 2 or 3. But I'm hoping I can at least get in a short year's ride. But I'm just taking it one day at a time. So I have contingencies. So either everything miraculously gets better by the middle of May and I'll just continue as planned, or I get delayed a little bit and I can still ride a couple months, or maybe it's awful and I can't actually get started until next spring. God help me. I hope it's not that much, but if it is, it is. The states aren't going anywhere, and knock on wood, that's probably a dangerous. Ooh. Oh my gosh, just never mind. I'm gonna leave that there. The states aren't going anywhere. There'll still be 17 states that I still need to ride through, no matter what time it is that I get around to doing it. So, Apollo just gets to hang out and enjoy his very long break. There's someone at the barn there that is a very good rider that has offered to help a little bit with keeping him in shape, or getting him in shape in the spring if I need her to. So at least if I can get started this year, she can help me get him ready so that when I get there we can get off to a little bit faster start than usual, because we usually start a little slow for a few weeks. But yeah, there's options. We'll see. That was probably a much longer answer than you were looking for, but yeah, one day at a time. I don't know. Debbie says, be sure to stay safe. Yeah, definitely. And that's really, there's no hurry. I'll do the ride when I do the ride, and it'll be fine. I don't need to be risking getting myself sick, and I don't need to, I don't want to be a vector more than anything. When I ride, I go, most days of the week, I'm going from house to house to house to house, and if I pick up something from, somebody on Monday, and then a few days or a week or 2 weeks later, how many people have I met that would then be in contact with me during that time? That would be very irresponsible. So I don't want to even risk that being a thing. So definitely that's a concern. Also, I want people to be comfortable to let me come stay even if I'm sleeping in a tent outside for social distancing or whatever, I do still need to use the bathroom or, socialize. It's a domestic violence awareness ride. It's not going to be useful if I can't talk to people. And so I need people to be comfortable with inviting me to either stay or to stop at a crisis center or whatever. And if it's too soon from what's going on now, it might be a lot harder. I feel like people might be more hesitant to have a guest in their home or at their business. And so there's that to consider as well. So no point in making it more difficult or dangerous. So we'll see. Things are changing very rapidly. Obviously not for the better right now, but it'll eventually get better. I just have to wait and see when that is, and then I'll plan when I start riding again. Any more questions? So, I don't have anything else to say, but if anyone drops me another question, I will certainly see it later and answer you then. And I will be back tomorrow at 4 o'clock Pacific, 5 Mountain, 6 Central, 7 Eastern. So come back tomorrow. I have more adventures I'm planning between now and then. Obviously little adventures because I'm stuck at home, but little hopefully entertaining things that I can share with you. So I will be back tomorrow, and I will be sure to pass along all the birthday greetings to Apollo, and I'm sure he appreciates it. So, see you tomorrow. Bye.